Okay, listen, I'm not quite sure what happened this month, but I had some great reads. I want to start this video by giving a huge shout out to my top tier Wizard Master patrons. Thank you, John, Nico, Aaron, Scott, Mike, Chris, Leslie, Doug, Weistich, Twaney, Spyro, Daniel, Chris the Bookaholic, and Chris the Bearded Book Beast. Thank you so much for your support. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and we are doing a monthly reading wrap-up. But before we get into that, please do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel grow. And you can check the description box down below for links to the social media, the Discord, and the Patreon. It's all right there for you to explore. Before we jump into it, I want to give a huge personal shout out to my new top tier Wizard Master, John. Thank you so much for your support. Now, again, as I said in the intro, I don't know what happened this month. Things just kind of ballooned out of control. I had a huge genre tasting shift, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. My taste in genres shifted quite unexpectedly. I hit a huge block of sci-fi and fantasy burnout, and I reached for horror and horror collections, scary story collections, and I had a great time with those. So before we get too much further, let's talk about the digital reads. I read Primal Hunter by Zogarth. I do have a video review for that one out. This is a lit RPG. It was very good. A little stat heavy to my liking, but still, I am really liking the main protagonist Jake and what's going on there. I do have all of my thoughts in that video review if you want to check it, either up in the cards or down in the description box down below. You can check it out in either location. But again, very good, narrated by Travis Baldree. Can't really go wrong there. Then I did Lost Souls by Ryan Skeffington. This one was like an experimental structure style of novel. And what I mean by that is like the structure and the pacing of the novel, which is post-apocalyptic, sci-fi, ring world, with battle mechs and battle suits and stuff like that, with like futuristic minerals and metals and stuff like that. Very good. But it was based off of a musical album. And so that led to some interesting structure choices that I haven't really seen before. So that was a very, very interesting read. We did a buddy read in the Discord. Thank you to everybody who participated in that. Ryan was very kind enough to give out everybody who participated free ebooks so that they could just jump right on in. It was a good time. And I look forward to the sequel. And then I did The Look of a King by Tom Dumbrell. This is Pillars of Peace #1. And this is just a very good kind of entry into adult fantasy style of novel. We've got basically two polar opposites of main characters. We've got a spoiled brat of a prince, and we've got a kind of just regular Joe Schmo in a country. I did find certain elements of this to be a little bit more on the predictable side, where things would be telegraphed throughout the novel, at least at the very beginning. And so for that reason, I kind of felt certain elements of the story to be kind of not surprising. Whenever a big event would happen, I could say, I saw that coming. But, it was clean, it was well written, it was entertaining, great characterization. Everybody is just pulling their weight within this novel. So I think it was a good read as well. And I would give each one of these probably the rank of B. So just Primal Hunter might get a B+ to an A-. I don't know. Lost Souls definitely gets a B, and so does Look of the King. Alright, now on to the physical stuff. One of the things that I'm going to talk about, even though I didn't finish it, is Bloodlines by Peter Hartog. And when I mentioned that I was flailing trying to find something to suit my tastes, my current tastes in the moment, this is something that I reached for. And this is fantastic. This is like a noir, hard-boiled police urban fantasy style. Like, imagine if Harry Dresden didn't have any magic, but, well, no, let me revise this. Imagine you've got Harry Dresden without the magic, but he's still got his third eye, and he's Murphy in the Dresden Files. And that's kind of what our main character is here. He's got, like, a third eye type ability, like Dresden has, but he doesn't fling spells or anything. He's just a police detective, like Murphy would be. And that's kind of where you end up here with Bloodlines. Very good. I got about 15% into this. And then, like, I went to bed, and I woke up, and my just attention span was gone. The ADHD was striking hard this month. Like, I just couldn't focus on anything, which is why short story collections really saved my keister, because, you know, they're short, they're bite-sized, and I was just able to run through them. And yeah, so I am going to be coming back to this. This is very, very good. I really enjoyed what I read. It was just a problem with my attention span is why this did not get finished. But before the burnout, I did read Soulbrand by Andrew Rowe. And let me tell you what, I've really, really enjoyed this. I would give this an A- to an A. I do understand some of the critiques. Some of the critiques of this one are kind of just along the lines of, hey, this is just a continuation of the storyline introduced in Diamantine. So this is like part 2 of Diamantine. There are some story elements that, like, people may not like and or agree with, but overall, I really had a good time with this. I did this on audio as well with Nick Podell. Nick Podell's amazing, and yeah, I just had a really good time reading this. I mean, I have no real complaints about this. I'm very excited to continue reading the World of Arcane Ascension, although I'm mostly caught up now, which makes me kind of sad. I've got 2 books left, and then it's on to the waiting game for the old wizard. Then I made a quick shift, and I don't remember what I was reading, but I was just like, you know what, screw that. I'm going to go instead read Finders Keepers by Stephen King, and I was 25% of the way through this, and I just abandoned the book months ago. I was like, oh, this book is so predictable. I can already tell what's going on. Where's Bill Hodges? This is Bill Hodges' book 2. And then, like, I put it down and I walked away for months and months. And then all of a sudden, the urge to read Stephen King struck, and I knew I had to return to here. And I don't know what I was talking about prior, because I loved this. Like, I would give this an A. The only reason it gets an A is because Bill Hodges didn't need to be here. Bill Hodges is only here as a secondary character to set up book 3, in my opinion. And so yeah, the tension in this is fantastic. The antagonist was great. I loved the kind of analyzation of this young boy as he's struggling to make big decisions because he's trying to support and do what's right for his family. This right here, fantastic. It was great. I loved it. I have been told to expect different things for the 3rd book, but I mean, the first 2 of the Bill Hodges trilogy have been really good. I've been meaning to read the Bill Hodges trilogy because I want to do, like, The Outsiders. I want to do the short story for, I think it's Holly, for an If It Bleeds, and then I want to, of course, be able to read Holly. And so these are all just kind of interconnected books, and I'm slowly making my way through them, but I'm having a good time doing it. Speaking of coming back to and finishing a book, we've got, boom, right here, we've got Mistress of the Empire. And essentially, this one, I didn't like the epilogue. The epilogue really kind of soured me on this book, because I felt like it was just shoehorned in, tacked on by somebody at a publishing house. It didn't work for me. And I'm not going to be spoilery. I did not like the epilogue of this book at all. I felt like it just diminished a lot of the sacrifices, and it was trying to give everybody a happy ending. And I felt like we had a bittersweet ending, which I think I'm a better fan of a bittersweet ending than I am just a tacked on happy ending. So, I mean, I liked this one, but again, I felt the situations that we find ourselves in this book are tenuous at best. It's all just kind of petty. This entire book is based on pettiness. And I really, really struggled with that because, like, the 2 main antagonists are doing what they're doing because they're petty. Then the second half of the book, it's based on, like, I'm going to hurt you before you get a chance to hurt me, even though you had 0 plans to hurt me. That's kind of what we get in this novel. And that just, I don't know, that felt a little bit forced to me. So I'm going to give this one a B- to a C+. It was still really good, masterfully written. Janie Wirtz and Raymond D. Weiss know how to write. Great characterization. Hard-hitting emotional impacts. Like, this is the most grimdark of the series as you're going to get. And it's like real-life grimdark and stuff that real people struggle with. But what it was based off of, the core background mechanics of this, it was all based off of people being petty. That's it. So it didn't really end up working for me. Then we've got to talk about this. This was initially the book I reached for to pull me out of a reading slump. And I would have told you that this was going to be my book of the month. I don't know at this point. I couldn't tell you if this is my book of the month because I've got 3 books that are basically punching in the same weight class that I read this month. One I'm still in the middle. I'm actually in the middle of 3 books at the time of recording this, but I have my opinions very well formed on those 3 books. So let's move this stack of books off to the side so that we can talk about 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill. I do have a video. I don't know if it's scheduled. I think it's recorded and it's coming out. This was an amazing collection by Joe Hill. The fact that people aren't constantly singing this book's praises every single year makes me sad. This was fantastic. Like, pop art, a fantastic story. I'm going to go in further into the stories within that video review that I did, but the Cape, the Black Phone, Deadwood was kind of a little too short to have much of an impact, but My Father's Mask, Voluntary Committal, all of these stories were just amazing. And this is a bit on the spookier side, but it is not a horror story collection. This is just more of a speculative fiction sort of collection that's a bit on the spookier side of things. I have nothing but good things to say about this. I immediately went out and got a special edition of this because it's a story I will constantly want to revisit. So in the running for Book of the Month is 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill. Come on, camera. Don't be dark all of a sudden here. We're gonna kind of show that right there. There we go. You can see it. Then we've got, let's just talk about the other 3 collections I did. So I read Ray Bradbury's From the Dust Returned. This one was really good. But a problem that you'll find with Ray Bradbury collections is he will pull in stories that have appeared in other collections and recombine them into like a genre-specific collection. And 2 of the stories that were in From the Dust Returned I had already read, I believe, in the October country. And then he, of course, added stuff for this. And it was good. There was one particular story on here I really, really loved. By the way, A+ if I didn't tell you. This one I would give B to a B+. There was one about ghosts on a train that I really, really enjoyed. And this was supposed to be kind of something similar to the Addams Family. Like, the art dust jacket is done by the creator of the Addams Family. Because they were friends and they were co-workers and they were peers. And they respected each other and they wanted to work on something together. But this was released after the death of the creator of the Addams Family. I keep forgetting his name. His first name and then Addams. I believe he named the Addams Family after himself. But yeah, this was really good. I need to kind of talk about it with... this was supposed to be a buddy read with Owen Edwards. And we didn't really have a whole lot to say to each other about it, other than that we read it and we liked it. So I need to have Owen on the channel here soon. Hopefully, life has been very busy, which is why you've seen not as many live streams from me. I've been appearing on other people's channels, but doing my own dedicated live streams, like, I just haven't really had the want, the energy, or the drive to do so. I'm hoping to bring those back here soon. I've got a number of people I've reached out to kind of talk to, and I just have gone radio silent on them, so I do apologize, but hopefully we can have a return to live streams here in the future, and Owen and I will definitely be doing one of those where we talk about this bad boy, From the Dust Returned. And then I did Ray Bradbury's Long After Midnight. This was another, like, I was just floundering and I wanted something. Another short story collection. This gets an A+. This one is in contention for being a book of the month along with 20th Century Ghosts because, I mean, this is just fantastic. I loved everything about this one. I don't think there is a dropped story in here. Let's see, a list of stories, because I'm terrible at remembering the stories. Blue Bottle starts off kind of weird. I didn't really particularly love The Blue Bottle, but The Parrot Who Met Papa, which was about Ernest Hemingway. The Burning Man, Piece of Wood. There's one about The Messiah. The Utterly Perfect Murder. Oh, The Utterly Perfect Murder was so good. Punishment Without Crime, Drink and Tire Against the Madness of Crowds. Fantastic. There's just so many great stories in here. Darling Adolf was an interesting one I didn't necessarily love. Long After Midnight, Have I Got a Chocolate Bar for You? Oh, Have I Got a Chocolate Bar for You was something I did not expect to love, and it just absolutely knocked my socks off. This is my annotated version from Ray Bradbury. You can see he's annotated it and signed it November 29th, 1979. I may want to get a special edition for this one as well. I know one exists, but it's a bit pricey, but I do want to get a special edition because this cover art is actually a painting from like the 1700s. I saw that here recently. It says front of jacket painting, The Nightmare from 1781. And that's the kind of cover art for this. So I don't know if I want something a little bit more specific to the stories that was created for the collection versus like a piece of art from like the 1700s. I don't know. The other collection that is also currently in my running, well, the more I think about it, this wouldn't be in the running, but it is darn good. This would get an A to an A+. I'm only docking it right now for Here There Be Tigers, which is just an atrociously bad short story, in my opinion. But everything else, I'm currently 43% into Skeleton Crew by Stephen King. And everything else in this has been amazing. This is another one that I read The Mist, and then I hit Here There Be Tigers, and I walked away from it, because I was just like, oh, how can you go from The Mist to Here There Be Tigers? And I was just like, I was so mad I walked away. That's how much I don't like Here There Be Tigers. I just think it's clunky and nonsensical and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, this was fantastic. I am loving it so far. I just read The Jaunt, which is right after, what comes right before The Jaunt? The Monkey, and then there's Cain Rising. Mrs. Todd's Shortcut was awesome. There was just something creepy and cool about Mrs. Todd's Shortcut. I really loved that. So yeah, I'm loving this collection, and I will definitely have it done. I'm currently filming this on the 26th, just because I have a block of time, and when you have time, you use it. And then the other two that I'm currently in the middle of, which may not be done by the end of the month, but I am 75% through House of Chains by Steven Erikson. I'm going to give it a B. B-. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't necessarily love it. But it's still really, really good, and it's good to be back to Malazan. It's just the first part was Karsa Orlong. The rest is just less Karsa Orlong, and I wanted more Karsa Orlong, despite the fact that he's a terrible individual. And then finally, we've got Empire of the Damned. I'm currently 30% in, and this is now my main read for the rest of the month. But I like it a little less than Empire of the Vampire, but still really, 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 really good. Fantastic stuff here. And we've just transitioned to a new POV, which I wasn't expecting, and I am here for that. I expect to give this an A. That's all I've really got for you this month. I can't give you a book of the month because I just couldn't decide. If you're going to put a gun to my head and make me decide, I'm going to say Joe Hill's 20th Century Ghosts. But again, I've read so many great collections. Let me know in the comments down below some of your best reads, some disappointing reads. How did your reading month go? Let me know what you read. Look forward to talking to you in the comments down below. But that's all I really got for today, guys. So, till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons. Thank you for supporting my passion and my hobby. It means the world to me.